Very good morning, cadets. Hope you are all doing well. In the last few video sessions, we briefly gone through the chapters 1, 2 and 3 from the textbook Our Past Part 3 or the class 8th history textbook. In the class 8th history textbook, you are going to study totally 10 chapters. Earlier it was 12 chapters, now it is 10 chapters. 2 chapters are deleted, and earlier part 3 history textbook had part 1 and 2 textbooks. Now it is combined with one textbook. So totally in this textbook you have 10 chapters. Out of 10 chapters, before going to detailed study of those 10 chapters, we have taken the activity of understanding what is given in each and every chapter in brief. So today let us briefly discuss about the chapter number 4. Chapter number 4, Tribals, Dickus and the Vision of Golden Age. Tribals, you know tribals, the people who live in the forest area are generally called as tribals, or those who have tribal background. Now we are studying about the conditions of tribals during the modern Indian history or during the British period. During the British period, in the previous chapter we studied about the indigo plantation. So British forced or introduced several laws which even affected the tribal life in the forest areas. So we are studying this chapter, how the tribals who reacted to the laws passed by the British government. That is what we are going to study in this particular chapter. So tribals, Dickus and the vision of golden age. So in this particular chapter we are going to study about the tribal leader Birsa Munda and how Birsa Munda organized people against the British rule. So what we are going to study in this particular chapter? We are going to study about the life of tribal people. That means how tribals live. That is how did tribal group live? Then the types of cultivation, that is zoom cultivation, how the zoom cultivation, the meaning of zoom cultivation. And we are also going to study about how the tribal group, they cut the trees, then involve in agriculture from the very basic period. Apart from that, we are also going to study about hunter-gatherers. So hunter-gatherers. Now the name itself indicates the profession of the people. One group of people, they are hunters, at another they are gatherers. What is hunter-gatherers means? Those tribal groups who are involved in hunting of animals for their survival, that is called hunters. Gatherers means those who collect the forest products, and sell the forest product in the market. So forest product, for example, products like honey, they are all called as forest products. So we are going to study about hunter gatherers. Apart from that, we are also going to study about various tribal groups in India. So whenever we are studying about tribal groups in India, you see the map here. Okay, so almost every Indian state you can find the tribals. Okay, so in Indian map you can see the tribals of various states. So in this particular chapter we are going to study about the various tribal groups belongs to states. For example, you see Gadi shepherds of Himachal Pradesh, Bhotiyas, Bhils, Banjara, Gonds, Santhali, Oran, Bonda, Maria Gonds, Koya, Banjara, Gonds. So lot of tribal groups still exist in India. So we are studying about the tribal groups and about pastoral nomads, that is what some herded animals. So pastoral nomads, or those who are rear animals for their survival, they are called as pastoral nomads. So you can see here the storyboard of Santali tribal group. So Santali tribal group who are moving from place to place in search of firewood. You see Santali girl carrying a firewood, and the Santali girls, they also help their parents in day-to-day work. Then we are also going to study about settled cultivation. So tribal population. Now very important topic what we are going to study in this chapter is that how did colonial rule affect the tribal lives. Colonial rule means rule by the British government. So I told you the British government passed several laws. The laws passed by the British government also affected the tribal life. So how did colonial rule affect the tribal life? What happened to tribal chiefs? What happened to shifting cultivators? So shifting cultivators are those who involve in cultivation in different places. That means not in a fixed place. So shifting cultivation is also called as zoom cultivation, kumri cultivation. It called by the different names in different places. So what is shifting cultivation? Shifting cultivation means where the tribals clear a particular land and after that they start cultivation in that particular area. Generally they cultivate those types of crops which can be yield in a less period of time. Once the harvest is over, they leave that place. So that is why it is called shifting cultivation. Most of us, we practice cultivation in a fixed piece of land. That means we have our own land and in our land we cultivate. Now As I mentioned, the forest laws passed by the British, the forest laws and their impact. The British East India Company once established their trade. They wanted to build railway lines. So you know very well the railway lines to be fixed with the help of a sleeper. Sleeper means a horizontal flank, wooden, you may be observed wooden plank which fixes two or which holds two tracks. At presently you can see cement slabs or concrete slabs. So British declared the zoom cultivation or the shifting cultivation against the law. So when the British declared as you see it is given that the practice of shifting cultivation was declared as illegal by the British. Not only that, I told you few tribals were hunter-gatherers, means they used to collect the forest products and sell those forest products in the market. British government even banned the tribal groups from entering into the forest by passing several laws. So when they banned farmers from entering into the forest area, that really created a problem to several tribal people. Okay. So now try to understand the tribals who are displaced. Displaced means the people who lost their jobs because of the forest loss. The tribals who became displaced, they started moving towards towns in search of jobs. So we are going to study about that also, how the entire system changed because of the British law. And this only we are going to study about the famous Bastar rebellion, because Bastar rebellion got a greatest influence on the Indian history. Now we are coming to the major topic called the tribal leader Birsa Munda. You know very well in Chhattisgarh there is a international airport that is called Birsa Munda International Airport, and even the stadium is named after Birsa Munda. The Birsa Munda, tribal leader, and he fought very strongly against the British rule, and he was people believed that he has certain magical power. They believed that he has a magical power, and he can even help the people to get away from the diseases. So Birsa was deeply influenced by many ideas and came in touch with the growing up peers. So we are going to study about Birsa Munda and how Birsa Munda helped the local people to organize themselves against the British rule. The British officers arrested Birsa Munda in the year 1895 and he was released in the year 1897, and he always tribals, Dikkus and vision of golden age. Now what is the meaning of Dikku? Dikku means Dikkus refer, according to Birsa Munda, Dikkus means Europeans. Birsa Munda called Europeans as Ravans. So he said that we have to destroy Ravan or destroy the Europeans. When we destroy the Europeans, then we can establish a kingdom under leadership of Indians. So Birsa began to targeting the symbol of Dikku and European powers. So they targeted or started attacking on police station, churches, property, money lenders and all. And in 1900, Birsa died of cholera, and the movement faded out. So this entire chapter is dealing about tribals, the tribal group of people, and how the tribals rebelled against the British rule. And here we have to understand that the European East India Company, or the English East India Company rather, landed in India as traders. The mercantile company or the trading company, after the Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar, after getting the right to collect the tax, that is called Diwani, and slowly they started involving in the administration process. Once they started involved in the administration, they definitely passed several laws. The laws which are passed by the British government or the English East India Company, strongly opposed by several in India, including tribal people. So chapter number 4 is tribals, Dikkus and vision of golden age. I repeat, tribals, Dikkus and vision of golden age. So try to understand. Tribal means those who are living in a forest area, tribal people. You can see the tribal people. There are two types of people who are the hunter gatherers, and few were pastoral nomads. Means they were hunter gatherers, or they were hunting, or few were gathering or collecting forest products and selling in the market, and others were pastoral nomads. Means they involved in taking care of animals or pastorals like cow, goat, sheep, buffalo, and selling the animal based products in the market. So chapter number 4, we are discussing about tribals. Dikkus is a terminology used by Birsa Munda to the Europeans. So according to him, Dikkus considered as Ravans, or the bad people, or the evil. So what we have to do? We have to get rid of the evil or bad people. That is what the tribals, Dikkus and vision of golden age. So when we are into the chapter, then definitely we'll study each and every aspects in detail. Thank you.